We are looking at a set of 4 statements, 12, 13, 14, 15, that are talking about law of karma. Let's see number 12. So he's saying Klesh Mulaha. Klesh is the root of it. So Klesh forms the root of what? There is a vessel called Karmashaya. So Karmashaya is a vessel. Imagine something is cooking in your kitchen. The vessel is on the burner. And you are putting certain ingredients. And over a period of time, the dish is cooked. And that is finally ready to be served. And you eat it. And you like the taste. Sometimes you may dislike the taste also. So Karmashaya is the vessel where your karma are being added into. So it's like a ledger book already. Every moment we are adding something to it. And then once the ripening has taken place, so every karma has different kind of what is called gestation period. Like every dish has its own cooking time. So what is going into Karmashaya? After some time, it will get cooked, it will get ripened. That is called as Karm Vipak. It is coming in statement 13, Vipako. When that has got ripened, then you are going to eat it. The taste will be sweet or bitter. So pleasure or pain. So what he's saying is, this is a very significant statement that Klesh is the root of it, as if that is the fire on which the vessel is resting. So in the case of Ishwa Paridhan, we have seen Ishwa is without karma, Klesh. So he does not do any karma that falls into the process of Karmashaya, Karm Vipak, and Sukh and Dukh, nothing like that. He also, of course, does so many things in the universe, but that is not driven by Klesh. So there is we have certain deposits in our mind, particularly in Ahankar, in the nature of Klesh, but he is without it. So in that sense, we have seen it. That's why Patanjali did not consider it necessary to describe Klesh in chapter 1, because Klesh appeared for the superior quality people. Klesh was Tanu, and he was talking as if, they are not functioning much under the influence of Klesh. And when it came to Ishwa Pranidhan, Ishwa is, of course, word of Klesh. So Klesh the term was there, but he did not feel it necessary to describe it. Now in Kriya Yoga, as you know, the person is in the medium category and his Klesh is significant. So he has described that we have discussed last week. Now he's saying, under the influence of Klesh, you do certain karma that is called sakam karma or interested action. Certain actions are nishkam karma, disinterested action. We are not concerned with the reward of it. When we do for somebody else, is it not? Like in your office, you may work for your superiors. Now the company makes big profit or loss, etc., etc. They are not much of your concern unless you are laid off. So you are working, and it is mostly sakam karma, because at the end of the month you expect a paycheck. But you, the same person, may be working as a volunteer somewhere where you don't get any compensation. That becomes your nishkam karma. So sakam karma is that which is driven by klesh, in particular rag and dvesh, your desires, your likes, etc., etc. Of course, somebody can work even in his office as Nishkam Karma, Anyway, let's move on. So number 12 says, Klesh is the root of it. Then you are performing Sakam Karma that gives rise to Karmasha. And Karmasha in due course of time will give reward, will bring its ripening. I think Sumiraji will notice that I have again picked up cold. This is third time
Even I
since I
have a
moved
bad
from
one.
Houston to New York. It has started yesterday, so I am still taking a chance. Maybe it disappears. Otherwise, it takes 8, 10, 12 days. But okay. So now he's saying the rewards one is bound to get. They may come drishta adrishta janma vedaniya. Some of them may be rewarded in the current life and some may be in the future life. Janma is the birth, drasht is the ongoing, adrishta is which is unknown, that is next life. Vedaniya means one has to go through it. So that was statement number 12. If Klesh is the driving force, the karma will bring its reward in the present life or in the future life. Statement number 13. Sati Mule. If the root is still there, Sati Mule. Tad Vipako, that will get ripened. And so now, this is how you have to be careful in reading sutras. Now, the last term was Adrashta Janma Vedaniya, next life, future life. So the rewards in the next life are, now he's talking about that. They will come through only if the klesh is there. Sati Mule, if the root is persisting. What he wants to say is, in case in the current life, you have wiped out klesh by this Patanjali meditation, Nibit Samadhi and all that, highest form of Samadhi, then your klesh is not there. So even if there is karmasha, it will not be ripening because the root is not there. So your current life will be the last life. That is what he is saying by the first two terms. Sati Mule, very significant statement. I don't think modern books have got this idea. Now he is saying Tad Vipako, the Tad is that is pertaining to karmasha. Karmasha will go through the ripening, and we will see slightly one part of it. And that will be, the reward will be threefold. What is it? Jati, Ayu, and Bhog. Jati is the nature of a species. Whether I will be again as a human being or animal, bird, and snakes and fishes, all kinds of species. Now, within the human species, there may be, my physiology may be corresponding to certain lifespan, that is called Ayu. Of course, typical lifespan of a human being is 100 years. That is what in the Vedic terminology, we all are supposed to live 100 years. But at the time of birth, a child may have certain genes or certain things, physiology, that doctor may say he's barely going to live 10 years, 5 years or something. And somebody may be so good, maybe he will live beyond 100 years. So even within the human species, that parameter is fixed. Now, Ayu is second parameter, lifespan. That is based on what kind of body frame I will get. Bhog is the nature of experiences I will get. I may be born in a very poor family where mother's milk may also be difficult. Or may be born in a very rich family, or maybe in uneducated parents, very educated parents. So all sorts of, so these are three independent parameters: nature of species, lifespan, and kind of experiences I am likely to lead. These three parameters are fixed. When the previous life I take the last breath, at that very moment, one part of my karma share, we'll see in a diagram slightly later, fixes these three parameters. Now statement 14. Te hilat paita phala punya punya hetutva. Now the last statement was vipak, the ripening. So he's saying it is not arbitrary. There is a particular correlation. What is it? If you have done righteous conduct, punya, you will have pleasant experience, lat. If you have done bad karma, again he is not using pap but apunya, that we have discussed. Statement chapter 133, Mati Karuna Mudita Upeksha. So basically the karma is the three divisions possible: good one, bad one, and the third is not doing anything, as if nothing has happened. But that third is also clubbed with the second one, because you had an opportunity to do right thing, you did not use it. So you are also clubbed with those who did the wrong thing. Though you did not do such a grave thing, but you were just as a spectator. Okay. So now he says, Punya karma, the righteous conduct, or what we call as dharma, brings the joy, pleasure, and happiness, vlad. Apunya brings payitap, means pain and misery and suffering. Phal is the karma phal. So karmasha, karma vipak is now becoming karma phal. Phal is the fruit of it. And the nature of the fruits are, hetu means they are caused by. So the cause is your righteous and not so righteous conduct. So the correlation, because the last word was bhog, bhog is experience. So experience is classified in, pleasant and unpleasant, painful. Okay. So you have to see these statements properly. What is the context? So the last term in the previous was bhog, which is nature of experience. Now he is correlating with the quality of action. Now we go to statement number 15. That is saying, parinam, tap, sanskar, dukha, gurvette, vyodhat, cha. Cha means and. So he is offering three, I will say, factors. And then on the list of the three, he is adding the fourth, gurvette, vyodhat. I will explain it. Dukha meva. So now he's saying, corresponding to the statement 14, where there were two kinds of experience, pleasure and pain. Now he's saying all are painful. Dukkha meva. All are actually to be classified as painful by all sarvam vivekina, those who have obtained the highest wisdom. And the path of yoga is to gain that highest wisdom. What is that highest wisdom is? That Purush and Buddhi are two independent, different entity. That is called Vivekhyati, highest wisdom. So those who have acquired that wisdom, we have not acquired. Patanjali is saying those people treat Sukh as well as dukh, both has dukh. So now he's offering why he said, as we saw in statement number 5 or 6 somewhere. Yeah, number 5 was, avidya was characterized as dukh is being treated as sukh, as if pain is being treated as pleasure. So now he is offering the reason in statement number 15 that this is what any person who has achieved the highest wisdom will tell you, that indeed every sukh is also dukh. Dukh is of course dukh, but sukh is also dukh. Go back to 15. Now, let us try to understand what are these 4 factors. When you enjoy a pleasant experience, you have come to the point that yes, the object of pleasure is with you. But then you had to go through an exercise, a hard effort to acquire that object of pleasure. So the object of pleasure is resultant. That is what the word parinam means, is the resultant of a huge amount of effort, which was not pleasant, which was probably giving you pain. So that is one factor. Now Tap is saying, when you are enjoying this object of pleasure and treating it as enjoyable, pleasant experience, in the back of your mind, usually, you know it, that this will not be everlasting pleasure. Or you are fearful that somebody will take away your object of pleasure from you. So even as you enjoy it, you have certain things in back of your mind that are unpleasant. Now, third factor he offers is sanskar. Sanskar is impatient. Now that pleasant experience is over, you have enjoyed it, but it leaves an impression, and that impression bothers you again and again, that you have a craving for that object of pleasure again. And it may not be easily available now, but you have a craving, and that craving bothers you. That causes pain to you. So he is offering these 3 factors, that they are all filled with dukh, even as you enjoy sukh. And then he says, now this is, he's explaining, because he's writing a book on Yoga Sutra, where yoga is defined as chitta vritti nirodha. And now he's saying, all these experience is nothing but good vritti vyodhacha. Means actually it is just a flickering thing in your mind, in your intellect, is it not? So we have seen how Jnana Vetti becomes Bhog Vetti. So Jnana Vetti is at the Buddhi level. It is merely giving you the light of knowledge. And you are the Purush, Buddhi Pati Samvedi, meaning you say, yes, I know it now. But when it becomes Bhog Vetti, because this whole discussion is about Dukh. So Dukh and Sukha, obviously, when Jnana Vetti has fallen upon you, or you have embraced it, under the influence of Klesh, of course, that it has become Bhog Vetti. But he is going back to the original reason, that this so-called Sukh and so-called Dukh are nothing but particular pattern of your Buddhi. And I am teaching you Chitta Vritti Nirodha, how to get rid of all these fluctuations. And these vrittis are flickering. Vyodhat means one will overpower another, then the first one, third one, all this is always changing in our mind, is it not? So he's saying this is not a stationary thing. The so-called sukha and so-called dukh, they are flickering moments, and you never know what is the next moment. Things may change abruptly. So there is nothing here which is long term. So for these reasons, those who have acquired highest wisdom, they characterize sukh as well as dukh. Both are nothing but dukh. I have kept a layer upon it. Now we are entering into we have less time now, but let's see, I can do justice to. Now this is the second topic in today's session, where he is saying why we came into all this trouble, you know. And there is, of course, the layperson has the question. He has to review whole his life, because he has always been wanting to get rid of dukh and go towards sukh. So now this is not acceptable if you want to follow Patanjali's path. But then the question is, what is it? Why not I want to get away from dukh? And so that is called dukh nivetti towards sukh pravetti. That is the typical human being's life. That's how he is pursuing his life. But that whole thing has been collapsed bulldozed by Patanjali in one stroke, that even sukh is dukh. And now he begins with this is called a fourfold strategy. Four terms will come. Hey, I'm sorry about all this, so much of Sanskrit. Hey is what is worth discard. So like I am not feeling well. So in Ayurveda, they have these four words. Hey is disease. I don't want disease. So to take correct measures, I should know, hey, hetu, how did this disease was caused? That is called hey, hetu. Han is what is required. What do I want? I want health, good health. In Ayurveda, we call it arogya. So first is rog, means disease. That is called hey. Hey, hetu is cause of the disease. Han is I want to be disease free. Arogya, good health. Hanopai, fourth will be Hanopai. What is the mechanism to get good health? Maybe medicine or surgery or some such thing. So this is the terminology in Ayurveda. And now Patanjali is using this terminology to explain something to us. Why did we how do come we find ourselves in such a mess that we cannot get away from dukkha? So he's saying, in this logical framework, hey is what is I must discard is dukkham, the pain and suffering, is it? But which one? So he's saying dukkham anagatam, that is yet to come, that is stored in the future. Because what has already been pain in my life in the past, that no force can change that. So he's first say there is no fun in thinking about your past pain and suffering and crying again and again. Think ahead and see what you can do so that the pain that is likely to strike you in future does not strike. So be very clear. Hey is not that past pain, it is the pain that is likely to strike me in the future. So that is he's defining as hey. Hey means what is I want to discard. Now he's saying what is the reason? What is caused by, what causes this future pain? Future pain is the hey. So what is causing, what is the cause of it? That is called hey hetu. So he's saying dashta dashyayo sanyogo he hetu. Sanyog is uniting. Somebody has united. What has dashya is what is observed, the scene that is observed, which is the skin. So skin with the associated image that collectively is called as scene that I am always observing. And dust is the observer. Of course, we could say this is Purush and this is Buddhi. But please remember, this is the context of Dukh, where Jnana Vetti, Buddhi Vetti has become Bhog Vetti. So this observer is not just mere Purush who has embraced the Klesh, is it not? So that is why he is not using the Purush here. Purush has embraced the Klesh and has become the observer. Observer in the sense he wants to participate in this experience of his choice. So he is observer, so to say. And this is no more a mere knowledge image. This has been allowed to fall upon. This has become a bhogviti and experience. So now they are functioning as this is something to be observed, and I am the observer. He assumes that I have no, this is me. This is what I have to be a part of it. And that has happened because they two have been tied together somehow. That tying together is called sanyog. This is observer. This is the scene to be observed. And their sanyog is the cause of why I go through the pain and misery. Now he is saying there were two terms, dashya and dashya. What is observed and the one who observes. So dashya he is talking, and in 18 the ending is dashya. So he is telling us the nature of this that we observe. And there are three terms here. Prakash Kiya Sthiti Sheelam. This is their inherent nature. Sheel means inherent nature is those three gunas, Sattva, Raja, and Tam. Sattva, Raja, and Tam, as functioning in Buddhi, what do? Sattva causes light of knowledge, Prakash, light of knowledge. Rajas causes Kiya, means activity. So that is what we are interested in, knowledge acquisition and then action. So when we are in the knowledge acquisition mode, then our intellect is functioning more as a sattva. And when I am running, doing jogging, exercise, workout and all that, then my rajas is more functional. And when I get tired, go to bed and likely to go to sleep, that is sthiti, being dormant. That is tamas. So he's saying this buddhi which becomes dashya, the scene, S-C-E-N, scene, is made up of three in one. They are intertwined. They are namely prakash, kiya, sthiti, light of knowledge, action mode, and dormancy. Bhutendriyatmakam. This is what gives rise to further evolutes of what? Bhut means all the gross elements of which the universe is made of. Indriya means our sensory and motor organs. So this is the minutest particle that I have that is functioning as my buddhi. Out of this, there are two arms we have seen in Samkhya diagram. The upper arm goes in the direction of 5 gross elements. So next is Ahankar. Ahankar gives rise to, on the upward direction, 5 tanmatra, nascent elements, then 5 gross elements. Out of 5 gross elements, all the universe, visible world is made of. And Indri means that was lower part of Sankhya diagram, my subject, my instruments that help me get to know or get to act upon the outside world. Is it not? So I have knowledge organs as well as 5 action-based organs to act upon the outer world and to acquire knowledge from the outer. What is the purpose? Purpose of this is to get me bhog, because in the past I have done certain karma, which was sakam karma. So I have to undergo their rewards. There is nothing I can get rid of. They have to give me the reward. So that is bhog. And upward is wake up from the cycle of birth and death. So this same intellect will help me, like it is helping me understand Sankhya and Yoga philosophy. The same intellect gives me the experiences of life and can also get me out of this loop of birth and death. So that was statement number 18, the nature of this shape. Then he says, this was described as outside of the Sankhya diagram. Now he is saying in 19, what is outside of the Sankhya diagram is called Vishesh. Why it is called Vishesh is a lengthy business. Let's not go into this. But if you know, within the 6 books of philosophy, the 4th books, the first is Sankhya, second Yoga, third is Nyaya, fourth is Vaisheshik. Vaisheshik term comes from Vishesh because his starting point is Panchabhut, while in Sankhya the starting point is Praketi. So his book is called Vaisheshik because his periodic table, so to say, begins with Vishesh. So now he is saying that Panchabhut, the Vishesh, the upper part of last on the rightmost. Then Avishesh is Indriya, the lower part, Panch Tanmatra as well as Ahankar. And Ling Matra, this intellect is what is actually Mahat in general, is Linga Matra. The word Ling means, this is a Sanskrit term coming from Lin Gamayati, means it can further disappear in its cause, where it came from, as if it is not the finality, the root of the matter. It is not Paketi, Mool Paketi. So even Mahat can go back to the Prakiti, that yellow box we used to make in Sankhya diagram. So that is called a ling, because this has no further box to get into. That is fine. So Prakriti is a ling because it has no place to go. It doesn't have another cause. That itself is causeless. But it causes the Mahat, Ahankar and all of the things. So what he's saying is, the Panchabhut Vishesh, the minute particles in Sankhya diagram, they are called as Avishesh. A is for negation. The Mahat, that is what becomes our Buddhi, that is what in a very latent state of functioning is called Chitta. That is called Linga Matra. And then there is a word Erling here. You may not see Erling here, but you know, these are Sanskrit rules of how multiple terms come together. So this is Erling. Erling is for Praketi. And then he is following with a word saying Gunapavani. All these are different level of three gunas, sattva, tam. Of course, in Prakriti, it is in equilibrium. Elsewhere, they have different proportions and they function in a different way. So the statement 18 and 19 were talking about Dashya. This, what is the scene for me? Now the observer is described in statement 20. Drashta Dishimatya. The observer has only the power to see. It just Dishimatya means only. It can only observe. He is emphasizing again. Shuddho api. It remains pure. Whatever happens, if it is Jnanvetti, of course it is undisturbed. But even in Bhogvetti, somebody may say, I am enjoying, I am happy, but that I actually, the self, the push, was never unhappy, never sad. It was always what it was. But due to the clash, this person thinks I am happy or I am sad. Actually, that I undergoes no change. So why if he is happy and sad? Because under the influence of his avidya. So he is saying this undergoes no change whatsoever. Pratyaya anupashya. Pratyaya is the suffix that is nearby. It merely anupashya. Whatever it shows, self is merely seeing it. That is what. Tadat ev dashyasya atma. Now he is saying in 21, for him alone, for this Purush only, this thing exists, including all its functions and nature. This is exclusively for this Purush, Now in 22 he says, Ketatham Prati Nashtam. Nasht meaning it vanishes. It is no more there. When Ketatham, when you have attained the highest objective of human life, that is called Ketatham. I have attained it. Then, as a reciprocal, up till that he was observed, he was doing his function. The intellect was helping you go to that point that you could see your own self as well as buddhi in its raw state. Up to that last point, he was helping you. But once you have achieved the highest objective of your life, this nashtam means it goes back to its cause. That's why it was called as lingamatya. It goes back to the prakriti where it came from. Nashtam. Api anashtam. Also it remains functional tadanya sadharanatva for other ordinary people. This is for an individual. For an individual who has attained the highest wisdom of life, his intellect will go back to its root cause, and now he is free, that is liberation. But the intellect, the buddhi of many others, that will continue to function. This is case by case. Now 23, remember there was a term Sanyog, right, in the beginning, that Drashta and Desh were brought united together. So that Sanyog is coming again, 23, let's read it. Swaswami Shaktyo Swarupoplabdhi Hetu Sanyoga. This is self, this is owner, and this is the ownership of a asset. So this is Swami and this is the asset that is owned by the owner. Shakti means both have their powers. This has the power to show, this has the power to see. But now he is going to the, not as Drashta and Drashti, because that was in the context of Bhog. Now he is talking in specificity of the knowledge. So because this person is very close to the knowledge, we had just now discussed Kitatham in 22, that you have achieved highest wisdom. So he's saying the Sayog was actually the cause of Dukh, He Hetu. If I could show you again, the statement 16 and 17. Heyam was Dukham Anagatam, this, and He Hetu was this Sanyog. But when he talked about Sanyog, he talked about this twofold thing as observer and the seen to be observed, the Drashta and Drashya. So he's saying this Sanyog, they are united, they have been tied together, is the cause of the pain that is likely to strike me in future. And now he's referring the same thing, same to the pair, but he's not using the term Drashta and Drashya. He is using the term Swami and Swa. Swami is the owner, master, and this is the servant. This is Swa. And they have their specific power. He has the power to see, he has the power to show. Like sunlight has the power to show, is it not? If there is no sunlight, I cannot see. But even if there is sunlight, but my eyes are not functioning, then I don't see. So my eyes have the power to see, the light has the power to show all the objects. This is how a dipole works. So this particular dipole is the story started with Dukh. In the case of Dukh, it is Bhog Vritti, so he used the term Drashta and Drashya. Now, having discussed statement number 22, this is attainment of the highest wisdom. Now he's saying, look at this in a proper perspective, because this was not merely to give you Bhog, this was also to give you Apog. If you use only for Bhog, you are closing other paths, is it not? So he's emphasizing that point again. These two elements have their respective powers so that Swarup Uplabdhi Hetu. Swarup is the inherent nature of these two things. So this was given to you so that you can know the inherent nature of your own self as well as this. That is what is highest wisdom. Highest wisdom is to know your true nature as well as to know the true nature of your buddhi. So now he's saying that Sayog you think is the cause of pain, but that same Sayog is for this purpose. This was given for this purpose, but if you use only for Bhog, it is your problem, is it? But then he offers a reason why they were brought together at the first place. At the first place, they were brought together. That Sayog is Tasya, means they are of. Hetu is cause. The cause of that was avidya, means that avidya we have seen is the first principal klesh. That was there. So somehow you were inflicted with avidya. So you were brought together with this so that you get highest wisdom. Now 25th is saying, Tad abhavat sayog abhavo. Abhava means disappearing. When avidya disappears, that klesh disappears, then this sayog, the tying together, also disappears. And then you achieve your objective. Han. Han is your objective. Having seen both of them, taddashe, both of them in true nature, you become kavalyam, yani you are now isolated. Now there is no tying together. Now, how is this achieved? That is called Hanopai. Vivek Khyati Aviplava. So, Vivek is wisdom. So, when that highest wisdom is achieved, Aviplava is not flickering, it is there for significant time. If you just have a flickering samadhi, that doesn't work. If you are in that mode for significant time, then you have achieved Vivekhyati undisturbed. Then you will be Kevalya, you will be in isolation because that avidya has been sent back where it came from. So that was our second topic of today. Sorry, I took longer and I started late, and again I deviated. Instead of work, I myself went to book. It's considered as if I have covered this part. This I have covered in the Hindi version Wednesday. So I get confused myself. So we have covered two very important topics, law of karma, and maybe I should show you, maybe again taking time, and maybe today we cannot do our, that is so bad. I have to blame myself. Because the topic of law of karma in statement 12, 13, 14, I have made a diagram, so I might as well show you. Now I am trying to get that diagram. Yes, I have it here. Okay. That will take a quick 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, let it not confuse you. It is a diagram to explain what we have seen in statement 12, 13, 14, 15. That was pertaining to, in particular, 12, 13, 14. 15 was just saying all sukh is also dukh. So there are three vertical lines. First, this horizontal line, AO, this is time. Time is a parameter going from left to right. Now there are three vertical lines. They correspond to a particular moment. The first is, let's assume I was a human being last previous life. So this is my previous human life. Of course, I am a human being in the present life. So this was my death here. At this moment, I died. And this moment, I was born in the present life. And this moment, whenever it comes, I will die in the present life, which is still some time away. Okay, so we know the three vertical lines. Okay, now he is saying, statement number 12 was, Klesh Mula Karmasho Disht Adisht Janma Vedaniya. What he means to say is, referring to the previous life, human life, that's why I say human life, when I am performing karma, I am doing karma, which are sakam karma due to klesh, and they will give rise to their reward in just in that previous life and also in the future life. Now, the moment I die here, my karma share is split into two parts, the yellow box and the chocolate color box, dark brown. Now, this is, Sanskrit term is pradhan, but let me not, so I translated it as primary. This is carried forward to next life. You know, certain karma cannot be put into this part. Now, this part is rewarded. So it is saying accounted in one life. So now they are being accounted for, and that in which way they are accounted for, it has been decided that what will be my nature of species, a human being, what is about my physiology, genes and all that, likely lifespan, and experience, likely experience. These three parameters were fixed. I am using the word fixed, which will be modified. So let us not, let's be flexible in our mind. So when I am born, these three parameters were fixed. First of them, species, is definitely fixed. That will not change. But you will see, as I will describe, the lifespan and experience I can change. But at that point, as far as default nature of the parameter was fixed. If you are not doing, if you're lazy enough, you don't change them, they just remain what they were fixed at the birth. Actually, they were fixed at the moment you died last time. Okay. Now the second vertical line, I was born here. But being born as a human being, I have the privilege to do certain karma. So I am doing karma right from the day one. Okay. Now that same statement number 13 we have utilized when we say Tad vipako jati ayu bhog. We have utilized it. Now the 12th statement, that Klesh Mula Karmashayo Dast Adast Janma Vedniya. So now the first part, just certain karma are being rewarded in the ongoing life. Is it not? Now that IO is going down. So that is, and certain karma are in the future life, that IO goes in this black box slightly, where I always inherit another box here, number 2 box here, which was not accounted for. Okay. So this is Dasht Janma Vedniya, this is Adasht Janma Vedniya. The karma which are being rewarded in the ongoing life are going downstairs, downward, and which are going to be taken care in the future life, that arrow is going upward. Now the one which are accounted for in the current life are again, now there are 2 subdivisions. I do certain karma that can change my ayu and bhog, my lifespan and bhog, like I decide to do workout, or I get into drugs. If I get into drugs, my lifespan is going less, and even my bhog, I am making my life more miserable. So this was called as threefold reward, Pak. 3 parameters were fixed when this yellow box was rewarded. Now here in the ongoing life, certain karma I am performing that can modify both ayu and bhog. And certain karma I do which can reward only in terms of bhog. Like I like to drink a cup of coffee. But sometimes I say I go to a huge big hotel and pay $50 for 1 cup of coffee. Or I go to a roadside stall and take a coffee just $2. It is the same cup of coffee, but I feel I am enjoying more when I spend $50 and in a particular setting, is it not? But that cup of coffee is same, so that is not changing my lifespan. It is just, your own idea of pleasure, which is always subjective. So certain actions being only change only bhog, only the nature of experience. Certain actions change both your lifespan and bhog, both. And of course, there are certain actions, they are not rewarded in the present life, they are adding up into that black box. Now you will see, no, because I am, now my life is changing, is it not? So that's the beauty of the human life. You can take the future in your life, in your hand. So because of these actions, my life as a whole is changing. So what was otherwise put in this deep brown box and is adding up here, some of that can now come out okay, now this guy can be rewarded, which otherwise was not able to, could not be accounted for. So this arrow from black downward, so Vyas is writing detailed thing. I have taken it from Vyas. But if you read it, it's not easy to understand. It took me a lot of time. So I thought I'll make a diagram and see if people can understand it. So he's saying there are three directions of what is this black box. So they can now give rise to their fruits now, because your life is changing. Some sort of life was defined by this yellow box, but now you have changed it. So now those can be rewarded. Now certain things were stored. Now maybe you are just wiping them out somehow. Like in a highest case of, that yogi, who all clay is burned out, he will burn out the whole black box, is it not? So in general, somebody will burn out a small part of it. That is possible. And something again becomes another dark brown box at the end of the present life, is it not? So when the present life will end, again, the whole, this will be, which would not have been accounted, will be split into two parts just the way it was split here. Okay, that ends today's session. And sorry for mismanagement in time, but I hope I did not compromise on the value of learning. So his floor is open for any discussion. Any topic, any question, answers you have. If you don't have, I will punish you with meditation. Okay, last week in our question hour, there was a discussion on pran. I remember that, last week or week before that. So I was trying to explain pran is a force that Ishwar has the power to exert on matter, and that's what causes all the things that matter does, including the solar system and anything. Air moves, water moves, or even in atomic structure, electrons, anything that is happening with matter is caused, those movements are caused by a force, and that he is exerting. Then it's, in the context of pranayam now, he is causing certain forces within this system of mind. If those forces are not there, I will collapse. So the fact that my body, mind, and self are intact because of those pranic forces. And as we have seen, so that I can do the bhog and upwork part, learning and all, what we have seen today. But he is doing in background, which I don't have to worry about. Even as I go to sleep, my respiratory system, my nervous system, my cardiac system, all this is working, which I am not doing anything. I go to sleep, I forget it. I am out of the world. But this is his way of keeping me functional, alive. And when I wake up, because those background forces continue to work, I can do what I want to do, is it not? So within this now, what is pranayam is in particular the breathing respiratory system, which is happening by itself. But Patanjali says three kinds of pranayam. That we'll see next week probably, or week after that. Throwing it out, keep, in breath, out breath, holding it, and so on and so forth. So we are able to influence it. So it's not that we are doing prana. Prana is happening by itself, but we have an ability to influence it slightly. And in the practice of Patanjali's yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and all, pranayama has come even in the first chapter, if you remember. Prachadhan Vidaranabhyam va pranasya. So that was statement number, I can show you statement number 34, first chapter. So what he is saying is, prana is there, but if I choose, I can influence it in a slight, small window. But he takes care of the greater part. So I was talking in terms of delegated authority and authority, etc. I was trying to give an example. Probably a mother's home, child has the limited freedom. So mother takes care of the whole house and the child is free because he knows my mother is there and everything is well taken care of. And then he's playing with certain toys in a limited area. The freedom that he has been given to him by the mother. Then in the last few days, I thought of another example. I hope it doesn't confuse you, but I think this is a better example. Just imagine as a child, 5, 6-year-old child, you are first time riding a bicycle. You are first time riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle has two components intertwined. One is maintaining the balance because it has two wheels. So it is stationary and it has no balance. It will fall one way or another. And also its second is it transports you from, that is movement. Now you are on the seat for the first time and you can instinctively feel as a child that if I raise my legs, the bicycle is likely falling here or there. Now your father, mother, whatever it is holding the bicycle from the backside. He is holding it and he assures the child, no, this bicycle will not fall. So I will take care as far as it's tilting one way or another is concerned. Now you just put your foot on the pedals and drive it. So the two parts of a bicycle movement is instability and transporting in the forward direction. The father assures him that part I will take care. This will not fall. So he is holding the bicycle from the rear. And the child is now assured. He lifts his feet and he can see, bicycle is not falling. Now he says, okay, I will now ride on the bicycle. Now riding on the bicycle is made possible by the fact that father is providing that necessary stable support, is it not? If that was not there, he couldn't have done the first lesson of riding a bicycle. So just, these are worldly examples. They are never 100% fitting properly. But this will explain to you that he is ensuring that all the 5 gross system, nervous system, cardiac, respiratory, digestive, and renal system, they are all members of prana, apan, vyan, saman, udan. They are all functioning in background. I don't have to look back because I trust my father, so to say. And I do whatever I want to do because those forces are there, isn't it? I hope this can explain this interaction of prana. So he is doing most of the necessary things that enables me to use my body and mind the way I want it for bhog and upward. Okay.
I think the last diagram was very
one
useful.
thing in my mind to describe it. Any other question or comment?
I think the last diagram was very good.
8 or 9 more minutes.
Yeah, the last diagram that you showed was very useful. It was very good. It captured everything.
I'm sorry, sound was not well. Can you repeat it, please? No, that was okay. It was switched off from my end.
Yeah. So, Acharya,
Yeah.
can you listen me? Can you hear
I
me?
can. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
what I'm
my
saying,
problem.
the last diagram was very, very useful. That was really, that captured everything. The other thing I thought that was very important in today's talk was the one sentence you told, Chit Vritti Nirod. I think that is the most summary of everything, right? The idea is of this meditation and also life is to purify the mind, right? And bring good virtues and get rid of bad vices.
Yeah, that is the basic part. As you see, this has not come in the first chapter for the superior quality person. And you will see next week we'll get into Ashtanga Yoga about Yam and Niyam, Ahimsa, Satya, etc. That is for those whose mind has picked up Ashuddhi. So now he is getting into, if you do not get rid of Klesh by Kriya Yoga, this Klesh will give rise to Ashuddhi in your mind. So, there's a wide spectrum of human beings in a society. So up till now, he's talking about those. So let's go from the, Karm can be Sakam Karm and Nishkam. Nishkam Karm is highest order of the superior quality people. So they are never doing Sakam Karm. Now the middle quality people and the third quality, we'll see, the common feature is they do Sakam Karma under the influence of Klesh. Now Kriya Yoga is for the person who is doing Sakam Karma, but he is doing Dharma. So he has no impurities in his mind. So Klesh is not impurity, please. Klesh is a default. We are born with Klesh, but just like a child is innocent. So we are all born as innocent people. Now, as a default, as a child, we are all in the medium category. Now, if we don't employ Kriya Yoga in time to diminish Klesh, then Klesh will grow. And as Klesh grows, this will pollute your mind, intellect. And under the influence of impurities in your intellect, you will do now adharma. So the third level of people are Sakam Karm, but they are employing even unfair means. Harming others for their sukh, causing dukh to others for their own sukh. The one who does Sakam Karm, he does only dharma, the middle category. He goes by fair business, by the law of karma that we have seen. So he always sticks to punya karma, but he will get sukh. Now Patanjali is even warning him that what you call sukh is also dukh actually. So you have to upgrade your life, and for that there is nothing else but make your klesh tiny. So employ Kriya Yoga, and when your klesh is tiny, then you follow the instructions I gave you in the first chapter and make your quality go in that direction. Now, today he has described to us what we have seen. First part, we saw that however smart we are, sukh is actually not sukh. It is dukh. So, a large fraction of human population adopt this strategy every day. So
Yeah.
he's warning to them
Yeah.
that
So
this will
basically,
get you nowhere. You will come back again. The cycle will go on.
So basically, what
And
I see,
now he's
yeah,
saying, as you will see next week, if you do not even employ Kriya Yoga, if you do not employ Kriya Yoga, if you are nice, good, hardworking, honest man, there is a likelihood there will be temptations in your life and you may employ adhyam at certain occasions. And then he is warning you, then you will fall down to the third category. And next week we will see, he will tell to a person in the third category what we know as Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga will begin with the injunctions, what is called Yam.
Yamaniums.
Ahimsa, Satya, Aste, Vamchaya. So Yam is relevant in your interaction with others. Niyam is for your own self.
Yeah.
And out of 5 Niyam, 3 have already been discussed in Kriya Yoga. But Yam has, up till now, Yam has not been discussed for the top category or for the medium category. Now Yam will be discussed, brought in Ashtanga Yoga for the lowest category, who are likely to fall to the temptations of quick gains and cause harm to others. For now they are causing dukh to others for personal sukh. The medium category does not harm others, but he leads a life to go away from dukh and towards sukh by legitimate, honest means. So this distinction has to be clear. So karma has very different layers, you know. First is sakam and niskam. Niskam is by definition, it is dharma. That's why he is doing disinterest. He is always doing dharma. But now he says, I am not interested in the reward. So this was child number 1. We talked about 3 children and 3 mothers, you know. Now, one who does sakam karma, when he follows dharma, he is medium category. When he is willing to follow adharma, he goes to third category. So medium category, Patanjali is saying, before you fall down to third, do Kriya Yoga so that you can raise yourself to go to first category. And
So
somebody just doesn't care, he doesn't listen. Then he says, okay, you are in third category, then I will give you a new prescription. That will be, you know, Kriya Yoga was not total prescription. That was an appendix to yoga. Now Ashtanga Yoga will come as a full-fledged prescription for the third category of people. And it will begin first with, as we will see, Yam. And he will say, this is Mahavetam. This has to be, if you not, then don't come to me again. You are not willing, if you are not willing to, you know, adopt Yam in your life, you are not, you know, I don't want to talk much. So he will say they are Mahavetam. You cannot compromise on them.
Yes, that is true.
So his Ashtanga Yoga will be for the lower category, and he will start with Yam. And purpose of Ashtanga Yoga will be, he will say, Ashuddhi Kshay. Now there is Ashuddhi in his Buddhi. Buddhi has impurities. Up till now, Buddhi was pure. Buddhi was not impure. Buddhi was guiding, like in Samkhya we saw, Tat Karyam Dharmadi. Buddhi gives us direction of dharma. So Buddhi is meant to tell us what is dharma, insofar as our actions are concerned.
Yeah. In fact, I think everything that we do since we are born is actually yoga only. Yoga. Basically, the idea of, I think the meditation gives us a clarity of in thinking. And when we have clarity in thinking, then we'll do the right karma also, right? So if we do the right karma, then we'll get a reward also accordingly. So basically, the main important thing is to have a clarity in thinking. And that, I think, helps, meditation definitely helps in that. There's no doubt about that, but we can go very deep. But I think that the purity of mind, when the mind is pure, mind is like a lens, right? If mind is clear, then we think, we look at the world with a clear mind, with clarity, and then we do the right karma also.
The right karma is always a right way to say it, but
Yeah.
you know, in philosophy of Sankhya and Yoga,
Yeah.
you really talk in terms of karma.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, karma has certain layers.
Yeah.
Sakam karam adharm, sakam karam dharm. Dharm, but without a
Yeah.
reward, that is nishkam karma.
Yeah.
Now, when you say nishkam karma,
Mm.
then this is actually not right to say karma because there is no reward there. You know.
Yeah.
Now the word
Yeah, but
there
I
is
think by
abhyas.
default reward is there,
Now
right?
the
By
word
default
there
reward
is
is there.
abhyas. Abhyas is practice of meditation.
Yeah.
It is not quite a karma. So abhyas and vairagya. So abhyas, somebody like you are practicing, you are sitting for meditation.
Yeah.
Somebody can say, I am doing a karma.
Yeah.
But upasana is a third dimension, jnana, karma, and
Mm.
upasana.
Mm.
So upasana is done, but upasana is not quite a karma in that philosophy.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's why I said
Yeah.
karma is always what affects others.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, even when we do meditation, we don't do it for a specific result, but we get a result, right? We get some benefits out of that. We are not doing meditation for a benefit, but we are getting benefits, right? Because if we do niskam karma also, and we do good karma, then it will have benefits also, right? In this life and also the next life.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Unless yes.
I was just going to add to that. I know we are really late on time, so apologies. But yeah, I think the benefit of the meditation is that that is your only route for trying to kind of achieve this objective of viewing yourself as your purush, as a separate thing to your mind. So I think that's the key thing. So as much as though you can do good things and all the rest of it, and that's fine. But the ultimate objective, I think, of this yoga philosophy is to achieve that distinction between I am not my mind, I am my purush here. And I'm trying to achieve this separation from my mind so I can use my mind objectively to live this life. And then hopefully if I do things the right way, etc., I can achieve this separation, this liberation. So really, I think that's the benefit we try to get through meditation, is to help that process. And even when you meditate, you can even think, like when you think about the process of meditation, is you find some kind of focus point, some kind of object to focus on. Sometimes you can even use that. You can think of your purush surrounded by your chit and focus on that, and then try to even separate. So metaphorically, you can imagine you kind of separate away from your chit. So I think that's the value, and that's kind of part of the objective of meditation.
Yeah, you have rightly put it here that that's what is chittavritti in yoga. So when all this is thoroughly inactive, then you get to know who you are and what this is in their raw state. And as you are practicing it, somebody, in our language grammar, we are saying, I am doing a meditation. So it gives an appearance as if I am doing some karma, I am doing action. But this is, I am doing practice of what Patanjali is describing as the prescription of how to attain that state. So karma has a relevance. But of course, if somebody is in the lowest category, he has to rise above. Otherwise, he will sit and waste his time because mind is so agitated, so many things are happening in his mind. So it just doesn't work out. So it turns out that in the direction of Patanjali Yoga, you will indeed succeed only if your karma is of superior quality, you know. So this has an enabling thing, but karma does not bring you to the reward of Patanjali Yoga, etc., etc. You know, it is a necessary but not sufficient thing. Because karma, by definition, being a reward, and for reward, you have to come again in the next life. So you have to get out of that loop. That's what we talked about, the wheel of the universe, you know. So you have to come out of the sakam karma loop. Otherwise, even if you are doing dharma, all that is nice. So, you know, you listen to many nice lectures, we should do good, good, good. But there is a huge misunderstanding that liberation is a reward for karma. That is not true. Liberation is not a reward for karma. Liberation requires attaining that highest wisdom. Yes, that is possible only for those whose karma is right kind. If you fail even at the karma level, you have nothing to do the meditation practice. Indeed, if you see, not all people take interest in meditation. Usually, it will be those people who are medium quality people, you know, who are good in their, who are not doing unfair games in their day-to-day life. They will not be, even if they start, they will lose interest in it. But of course, nowadays, in the name of meditation, like in corporate sector, it is just making your mind relaxed. Now, that is, if you call that as meditation, of course, it is good for everybody. Even one who is cheating, he will also do better as a cheat if his mind is relaxed. But we are talking strictly meditation, what Patanjali Yoga is talking. Otherwise, there are millions of people doing meditation. Their objective is relaxed mind, good sleep, and things like that. You know, we are talking about Patanjali Yoga. Thank you very much. We will sorry again. Today's session, I slipped a couple of times and it took longer. We'll meet again next week. As I said, we will begin with the Ashtanga. All the best.
Thank you, Acharya-ji. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste.